This is a tweet from Alexander Povetkin's promoter. We've come up with a very good financial proposal for Eddie Hearn to bring the Povetkin versus Joshua fight to Russia, as well as with our conditions to host the fight in the UK. If we don't reach an agreement until the end of the month, we'll have to get ready to go to purse bid. So the pressure is on Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua to sort this situation out. There had been talk about Povetkin potentially getting a shot at the WBA regular belt, and the WBA regular belt is currently held by Manuel Char, a person Povetkin has already beat. Char has got to face Akendo, so the winner of Char Akendo potentially fighting Povetkin for the regular belt. There had been talk of that being kind of like a compensation package, a step-aside package, to prevent Povetkin enforcing his mandatory right. But judging by this recent tweet from Povetkin's promoter, Ryabinski, it don't look like that's possible, or perhaps they don't want to wait for that, or, perhaps they're just adamant that they need their Joshua fight right away. And the crucial thing here is the location of the fight, because Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn, they don't want to travel to Russia. Given what has happened in Russia before, particularly with Povetkin, they don't want to travel to Russia. And Ryabinski has got very deep pockets. Very deep. He outbid the Klitschko's, bringing the Klitschko-Povetkin fight to Russia rather than it happening in Germany. And that was, I think, the biggest purse bid in boxing history as far as I'm aware. I can't remember exactly what it was. It might have been like $20 million or $25 million or some crazy amount like that Ryabinski bid to get the... In fact, let me look it up quickly. What was the winning purse bid? Let's do this on the fly here, people. Povetkin, Klitschko, okay, it was 23 million. That was how much the Ryabinski bid for the Povetkin Klitschko fight. 23 million. And I believe that's the highest purse bid in boxing history. The highest winning bid. So the concern for Joshua and Eddie Hearn is that they might not be able to outbid Ryabinski. That's their concern. And if they can't outbid him, then the fight's almost certainly going to Russia. There is still a chance to come to an agreement, but I can't imagine Povetkin and Ryabinski are going to be easy at the negotiating table. They're going to want a very, very good deal indeed for them to take on Joshua in the UK and avoid a purse bid. So the clock is ticking. The end of the month is fast approaching. If Joshua manages to get this Wilder fight, then he might be able to put off this mandatory. He might be able to, because, it's still going to depend on Povetkin accepting a step-aside package, which includes financial compensation. But the WBA do allow for that, as far as I'm aware, when it comes to unifications. They allow a champion to get the mandatory to step aside so they can unify. But it has to be with the mandatory challenger's consent, as far as I'm aware. Yeah? So we'll see what happens here, people. Joshua, I would have to imagine, would sooner vacate his belt than fight Povetkin in Russia. And I couldn't blame him, given what's gone on in Alexander Povetkin's past over in Russia. So we'll see what happens here. It will be unfortunate, because we want to see a unified champion regardless of who it is. And if he vacates a belt or gets stripped of a belt, the heavyweight division becomes fragmented again. So this is putting pressure on Team Joshua to actually make the Wilder fight, in all honesty, because that seems at this moment to perhaps be the only way that he can avoid fighting Povetkin in Russia. Now, what I will say is, Eddie Hearn's new backers, because Eddie Hearn has just signed this $1 billion deal with DAZN, He said it was an 8-year deal, but apparently it's a 2-year deal with an option for a further 6 years if the first 2 years goes well. But the owner of the parent companies of DAZN, the ultimate guy at the top, he is a Ukrainian / British citizen. He's got, I believe, dual Ukrainian and British citizenship. And he is an extremely rich man. He's a billionaire. He might, if Eddie Hearn can get him to, dig in his pockets and put up the money to outbid somebody like Ryabinski, potentially. But what's in it for him? You know, he's, I guess, overseeing DAZN, but Anthony Joshua is not part of DAZN. So what motivation would he have to help Eddie Hearn out financially right now? I have said on social media recently that if Joshua signed with DAZN, then yeah, he could be someone that would benefit from this Ukrainian / British oligarch and his very deep pockets when it comes to purse bid situations. But Joshua hasn't signed with DAZN right now. In fact, I'm wondering who Joshua is going to sign with, because he's dragging his feet when it comes to renewing his contract with Matchroom. I'm really wondering what's going on there. Where is Joshua's head right now? He must be thinking a million different things. There's pressure from the Povetkin side. There's pressure to sign Wilder. There's pressure from Matchroom to sign with them. What's he going to do? I'll be very intrigued to find out. Ultimately, regardless what happens with Joshua, I just want to see a unified heavyweight champion. I want to see who the best guy in the division is. If it's Joshua, if it's Wilder, if it's whoever, it doesn't really matter to me as long as we get a unified champion. Yeah? Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel. It's happening. I'm out.